Alright, I'm here at the depot with this mask on. So, sorry if I sound a little muffled, but, you know, we know Milwaukee makes a ton of tape measures. I mean, a ton. So, this is going to be just a quick little video, you know, about the different ones. And this is all in the 25-foot range. Because I feel like it's the most common, you know, the most common one that you're going to find, you know, unless you're doing, you know, some specialty work, or you got especially long distances or long pieces that you're trying to measure. Then you can step up to a 35-foot or a 30-foot. You know, 16-foot is good to have in your truck, or you know, in your bag. You can make some quick, short measurements. But we're gonna start with we're just gonna stick with the 25-foot. So, keeping that, you're starting out with the 25-foot compact tape measure. 9-foot of standout. This is going to be your sort of basic tape. You've got your 1/8" marks. You know, everything's labeled. So this is good for somebody who's new, or who new to the construction game, or to a new DIY. You know, or if you're, you know, you have an apprentice or you got a helper. You know, this is good for you to take measurements with. You say it's the first or second day, you know, and they're not really doing this long term. You know, you can take the guesswork out of measurements. You know, this way it makes the 16th inch marks easier to find, as well as the 8th inch, of course. All right, so there's nothing. This is just one side. There's no two-sided measurements. Now, the last year, I think around Christmas, the holidays, they had a different version of this. I think it was, because I got a couple of these, they were on sale. I think you get like 2 for like $14, something like that. But I think since then they've redone this, because this doesn't look quite like the one that I have. I think this logo was a little bit bigger on that. I can't remember exactly though. All right, and next up, and kind of tied sort of for, I guess, quality, is you've got the 25-foot compact auto lock. Now, this is going to be, you just pull it out and it stays put. Now, similar to this non-auto lock is it has the measurements on at each 1/8 inch line. And the feature with this, of course, is, you know, you pull it out and it stays locked, and you just push this button to let it come back in. Both of these 9-foot of standout, both similar in every way. Again, this one does not have markings on the back. So again, good for a homeowner, DIY, or somebody that's new to the game. Although I do suggest learning and being able to easily tell what the 16th and 8th inch markings are, without having to necessarily rely on the printed tape. All right, next up, I think this is a little bit newer version of the compact. This is the compact wide blade. Although it's not going to, it's definitely wider than the standard one, and you've got the markings on the back. And this one does not have the 1/8 inch or 16th inch. Does not have the 1/8 inch markings on it. So we'll compare these two, and you see that this one's just a hair wider than this. This one's just a hair wider than this other one here, and that's how they go from having the 9-foot of standout to having the 12-foot standout. So it's pretty similar in that way. Now we're stepping up to the magnetic 25-foot compact tape measure. Obviously, it's magnetic. We're not having the markings on the 1/8 inch, the 1/8 inch lines. Sorry, I'm getting them all mixed up. So there's no markings on the 1/8 inch line. This is going to be good for somebody who's doing metal framing. That way, you know, you can measure a little bit easier, or somebody who's doing a lot of installs or installation, you know, somebody who's got the installation driver might find this useful, if they're, especially if they're measuring shelving or they're doing some other type of metal work. This has the finger stop on the back, as well as you see the scale. Sorry, try to do this with one hand. As well as the scale on the back. Again, no markings on the 1/8 inch marks on the tape. Now we're stepping up to the wide blade magnetic. This is going to do all the same things, and the people that would use this. Now, I'm not saying that you couldn't do wood framing or, you know, everyday measurements with this, but it does have the magnetic piece here to help assist with that. And again, this is the wide blade. Now you go from 12 foot to 14 foot to stand out. And again, no markings on the 1/8 inch lines, and but there is markings on the back. Again, no markings on the 1/8 inches. Then you got the markings on the back. So this is going to have a little bit more standout, and you know, you can stretch it a little bit further before the tape breaks. Now we're moving up to the Pro Series. This is going to be the 25 foot stud with a 14 foot standout. So again, you see the size difference between the wide blade magnetic and the stud. Now the stud is built a lot more stoutly than this one. This claims the 80 foot drop, and it has the rip and wear blade technology. I will say that the stop here is a lot smoother operating than some of the other ones that I've looked at. You got the markings on the back, no 1/8 inch markings, and this just feels like you could hurl, like if you were somebody was coming at you, you just hurl this like a baseball. It's almost the size of a softball, actually, and you'd be good to go. So really solid tape measure, really well built. This is going to last you forever. Now you're stepping up to the Big Daddy with the bells and whistles. Again, same thing as this, except you're adding the magnetic feature to it. This one's wound up so tight there, but the magnet is really strong. Again, no 1/8 inch markings. You do have the markings on the back. Still the 80 foot drop. Survival probability is high, and you have the XO 360 rip and wear resistant blade technology. So this is just what they have in store. Just wanted to give you a little overview. Of course, price is reflected in each of these as you go up. You know, again, like I said, you got the 25 foot compact, 25 foot auto lock. This is the 25 foot wide blade. Now they don't say that it's wide blade, but we just seen that it is a little bit wider, and that's how they go from having the 9 foot of standout to the 12 foot of standout. And you got the 25 foot magnetic compact wide blade. Again, doesn't say wide blade, but it is wider than these other ones. 14 foot standout, 25 foot wide blade magnetic. Now this is wider than this wide blade, but this wide blade is wider than this. So the only way they achieve that standout is by making the tapes wider. You can make them thicker, but then the size increases exponentially. 25 foot magnetic, like I said, wide blade magnetic, and then you got the 25 foot stud, non-magnetic. Go, and this one is, the blades are the same width. It's still 14 foot standout. This is going to be built like a tank, and then you said you can drop it off the roof of a house, or drop it off the top of a scaffold on the concrete, and it's gonna take the hit. Got a lot of rubber over molds, and I've got a couple of these, and they're built really well. And you got the 25 foot stud magnetic. All right, so I just want to get this clear, just put this out here for people that are interested, people who might not understand, because it does get confusing. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. I will get back to you. If you have any feedback, leave it down there. Appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you in the next video.